writing as a business is the same, identical to any other business when you look at the big picture. There are three elements to it. Production, you produce a product. At the end of the production of that product, you have a book to sell. So that production process not only includes the writing, but it includes a cover design, it includes formatting, it includes editing, and all the things that get this product ready to go to market. You wouldn't go buy tomato soup at the store and there's just a bunch of tomatoes on the vine kind of laying on the, and they call it, this is tomato soup from IKEA. You have to assemble it. That's not a complete book when you write it. You have to go through the editing and formatting and all that, but once it's a product that you can sell, it's done, then you're done with the production process. Then you have to make a decision in today's world, publishing world especially, about how you're going to distribute that. Are you going to submit that to an agent and let them shop it around to publishers? Are publishers going to do all that work of finding the cover and the editing and formatting and all that kind of stuff? Or if you're going to self-publish and do it professionally, are you going to do that yourself and take responsibility for all of that? But also, along with that responsibility comes control. You have 100% control over that process. When you give it to a publisher, you lose some of that control, but you also lose the responsibility. And it's an enormous and time-consuming responsibility. So once you have that produced, then you have to decide how to distribute it. You can do traditional publishing. Go to a traditional publisher. This is often what people think of when they think of full-time authors. But there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of self-publishing authors that are making a living and beyond self-publishing because they manage those things themselves. But underneath that, you can distribute either exclusively on Amazon, or you can distribute wide, or you can do audiobooks, or you can do Kickstarters, as we've seen with Brandon Sanderson's spectacular, oops, I wrote 5 books Kickstarter type thing. So there are a ton of different ways that you can choose to distribute your books. Once you've got that plan mapped out, I know how I'm going to distribute them, then you have to decide how you're going to market them. Now, even if you're traditionally published, you are still going to do a lion's share of your marketing because people don't want to talk to your publisher about your book. They want to talk to you about your book. You're the world's foremost leading expert on your book because you wrote it. Okay? So you are the marketing, you are a big part of the marketing department. In a traditional publishing deal, you want to make sure that you're making enough marketing effort that you're earning out your advance so you become a profitable author and you can sell more books under contract again. As a self-publisher, you're trying to sell enough books that you can continue to eat and buy your wife nice things. My wife likes nice things. Clearly, we both like to eat, so I have to make money at this particular profession somehow. So you have to make all of those business decisions about how exactly you're going to do that. Now, underneath that are a myriad number of variations of that business plan, but that's the high-level view of things. Now, as far as people moving towards like a full-time writing career, what I tell people first is to consider very carefully whether that's really what you want from your writing. Because being a full-time author and being a writer are two entirely different things. When you become a full-time author, even traditionally published, you take on a tremendous amount of business responsibility. That is, things that are not writing, coming to writing conferences, talking to other writers, giving interviews, going to conventions that are, related to your book, whatever the case may be, all of those marketing things, book tours, marketing tasks that you're going to have to do. All of those things become a part of your life, whether you want them to be or not. So you need to decide first if this is what you want to do, and then you need to have a business plan like you would for any other business. You need to map it out and say, how am I going to do this? And you need to have budgets. How much am I going to spend on marketing? How much am I going to spend on production? How much am I going to spend on travel to come around to all these different things and do these events and book signings and things like that? And how are you going to manage that? Because at some point you have to achieve a tipping point. And the tipping point is when going to work, you're making less money by going to your day job than you are by writing, or sometimes a little less or equal, but if you took your writing to that next level because you had more time, because you weren't working a day job, then you can actually make a living at this. But you need to have those business things in place. And there's a lot that goes into that. You probably should have saving. Not everyone does. I did not. I did not do this correctly when I became a full-time author. So the advice I give people is really lessons learned from me doing it wrong, which is not the greatest. But you need to have those business things in place before you can actually take that leap. And you have to decide on timing, and you have to have that around you, like your spouse, your friends, people like that have to accept that as well as like this is okay for you to do this. So get other people's advice. Be sure you know what you're doing before you take that leap into being a full-time writer. And also define what you mean by make a living. Like, you're probably not going to make Brandon Sanderson money the first few years. You need to be willing to accept that and go, maybe I'm going to drive this used Toyota a little bit longer so that I can go into my dream of writing, because you're not going to get rich doing this. There's better ways to make a living if you want to do that.